Okay, something new here, guys. I have a guest. This is Courtney, a fellow YouTuber as well, and we're doing something I like to call the inmates of the asylum. Because let's face it, we're all a little crazy here, folks. Courtney, why don't you give yourself a little intro first, and tell them to do what you do.
Hey guys, I'm Courtney, aka CJ, but I'm known for on YouTube from CJack Productions. You can check that out on YouTube. Been a really good friend with this guy for quite some time. It's like our third team up, right?
Third team up, yeah.
Third team up, and I'm loving it, but I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And I'm also going to leave a link to his channel down below in the description, so check out his channel as well. Pop culture, anime, TV shows. You're still recovering from the Loki.
Right, the Loki. Yeah, our initial team up was the Loki. I call it Loki. No, it wasn't.
Our initial one was the Cowboy
Bebop. Yeah.
B-Flop.
B-Flop. I called that Cowboy B-Flop, which is an interesting title. People love that title, by the way.
Thank you.
And it's accurate. He came up with it, so I just titled it. I was like, screw it. And we all don't need a picture what happened to Cowboy Bebop on Netflix. I'm gonna put a pin on that. If you want to check it out, again, check out my channel. Our second time with this gentleman was with I decided to smush them together because they had so little to offer. The Loki and Hawkeye review. I decided to mash them into two. So that was just this past holiday season. And here I am again.
And today we're going to be talking about the Civil War within Lucasfilm. So our story starts in 2012 with the Disney Corporation acquiring Lucasfilm from George Lucas for the price tag of about $4 billion. That's a good gig if you can get at
sure. Yes, seriously.
You can get that gig.
Yeah.
And then the first film came out in 2015, which was The Force Awakens. Hugely successful film, grossed just over $2 billion at the box office.
That's a lot.
That
made the money, and then some.
It doesn't suck.
No.
Then we had Rogue One, which I personally think is one of the best Star Wars films made.
I loved it. That there was nothing to. I loved it, and I'm not just co-signing here. It was well written. The cast kept it simple. There was reference points of the original Republic, and I loved it.
And box office there was about $1.05 billion. Again, successful film. 2017. This is where the tail begins to fall.
This is my favorite part of him.
We had The Last Jedi and Ruin Johnson. That's right, I said it. Ruin Johnson, you round-headed hack. Came out with that film. $1.3 billion. Your initial take on The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, first off, The Last Jedi, my thing is this. The titles were wrong. It should have been The Last Jedi in the last film. To this day, I argue that point. And then the original title for this one, number one. And then number two, The Last Jedi, I don't know where it was going. Because even I know it's supposed to be a two-parter, right? And then it's like rushed.
Well, Ruin Johnson wanted to subvert our expectations.
Yes, that's him being polite. I already know him. I didn't like it. Just to answer your question, I did not like it because it was just so many things that was wrong with it.
And for me, because I initially liked The Force Awakens, after seeing The Last Jedi, it actually ruined that film.
Yes.
Then we have, in that in-between of 2018, we had Solo, A Star Wars Story.
He just gets you.
What the hell was that?
Solo is. They turn the whole Han Solo's legacy into a joke. You know, it's a spit in the face. Well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's make. I like to call him the terror tantrum kid. You know, Darth. Don't kill me. The new guy. I'm supposed to know the guy's name. I'm sorry. The guy. Kylo Ren. He has a CJ. He has a terror tantrum every 5 minutes, which personally I love. He's out of control temper. Being Han Solo's kid, I just don't buy it. I always hated that concept.
Yeah.
Period.
And that film lost somewhere between $75 to $100 million.
Way to end a legacy. Gotta love that. I'm being sarcastic, by the way.
And then came the rise of Palpatine. That's right, I said it. Rise of Palpatine. Not Skywalker, Palpatine. $1.03 billion. Now, my contention is, if you took the box office from Force Awakens and Rise of Palpatine and switched them, we have a much different conversation. Mm-hmm. Because you're seeing a rising trend in revenue.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Instead, we are seeing a downward trend in revenue. People began calling for Kathleen Kennedy's head.
On a pike.
Very much so. 2019, we get the launch of Disney Plus with something called The Mandalorian.
Jon said that, you know what? The fans aren't happy. There were so many questions about the movie franchise, the tail end of it, what he's discussing, that, you know what? He said, I quote, I remember this verbatim. I want to save this franchise. Disney, give me the green light. I want to make a series called The Mandalorian. Thus, here we go.
And this was I'd heard that he had actually interjected himself to Bob Iger, who was the chairman of the board and the CEO, which is uncommon at that time. And Bob was like, okay, you've done Lion King, you've done Jungle Book,
The Avengers,
you started the MCU.
True.
Okay, let's give you a shot. And so they paired him with Dave Filoni, who is basically George Lucas's son. I mean, did the Clone Wars, Rebels, is the number 3 guy at Lucasfilm.
The Bad Batch, and yes, and the list goes on. He gave him a good. What I like about Jon is the fact that he can adapt, because that's not his specialty. He's more of a comic head. He said so himself. And he just took off with The Mandalorian. It just worked.
Yes. And season 2 had the triumphant return of Luke Skywalker as a hero. As the hero we all know. As the hero we as generalizing, we the fans wanted to see.
With the proper respect.
Proper respect, exactly.
That's such a joke, dude. That movie, sorry.
Then, very soon after that, we get something that caused a fracture in the fandom. Gina Carano was fired. First off, let me put this to bed right now. Gina Carano was not fired. Her contract was up. Kathleen Kennedy, who was at the time still in control of Lucasfilm, did not renew it. Bottom line.
There is proof about this. And if anything, they use that as ammunition to go after Kathleen. They're speculating. How do you feel about the speculations that people who don't know, like we do, say that she fired her just to get back at Jon? How do you answer that?
She did.
Okay.
She absolutely.
No, I agree too. No, that's what I'm making sure. Yeah.
And I know this because of people that I follow. If you can follow, like Valiant Renegade, Cameron Pasha, who was on Midnight's Edge a lot. Kathleen Kennedy, for the Kenobi series, had brought in one of her hand-picked writers to be the showrunner and whatnot. And this guy was an Oscar nominee. And Jon hated what he was doing and got rid of him. So this was a tit for tat.
Got you.
I
just didn't know why. That's interesting. Actually,
you get rid of my guy. I'm going to get rid of your girl.
Because even I know Gina's supposed to be in the Knights of Republic or something, like some kind of spinoff.
It was supposed to be called the Rangers of the New Republic.
Okay.
And that show was going to still continue in this world of the Mandoverse now, which is now we have the Book of Boba Fett and the upcoming Ahsoka
Gotcha.
shows. So this is where the fandom really was calling for Kathleen's head, and the vitriol. They want her frog marched. They want her walk. They want her basically walked out of Lucasfilm practically in handcuffs, humiliated. Let me put that to bed right now. That's never going to happen.
Mm-mm.
Not of someone of Kathleen Kennedy's caliber. If for nothing else, her husband, Frank Marshall.
I forgot about that. Yep. He's not going to allow it.
Is not going to allow that to happen.
That's true. That's very true.
And so she's protected in that sense. However, the new CEO, Bob Chapek, who came on board in 2020, decided to play a little media game. And this started off with Forbes magazine, an article in Forbes. Now, for those of you who don't know, Forbes is a money magazine. These are investors. And the article was talking how the Gina Carano incident was costing Lucasfilm money.
I remember this conversation.
Costing them with stocks and whatnot. And it basically kind of put some blame on Bob Chapek, which was not deserved.
No.
Because he was not at the helm when this happened. True?
True. No, absolutely true. I have zero problem with what you're saying. Don't let my silence fool you guys.
So, however, there are some of the conspiracy theorists out there who think that Bob may have made this call to Forbes.
How can he make a call if he wasn't behind it?
To put the blame on himself, to give him the ammunition he needed.
I see.
To go forward. So it's a very Machiavellian type of...
It's not necessary, but that's your point. Okay.
So then...
in theory, in the question theories.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we come down to... There's... Soon following after that, we have an article in the Hollywood Reporter, which those of you who know about this industry, there are... As far as the trades go for the Hollywood industry, there's the Holy Trinity. There's Variety, the Hollywood Reporter, and Deadline. Deadline and Variety are mostly about the pretty people, the faces, the directors, the actors. The Hollywood Reporter is more about the behind-the-scenes people.
They dig deep.
The Hollywood Reporter had an article of Bob Chapek is shaking heads.
Going right.
That he is no longer a fan of these long-term contracts. And this is causing ripples within the Hollywood community. Because Bob Chapek is not a Hollywood guy. He came from the parks, and he had been with the parks. He was director of the parks, and say what you will about how prices at the parks or whatnot. That's a whole other economic talk that we can discuss later. But he had been around the Disney company for 20 plus years, so he
knows what's up.
He was the investor's choice to become CEO. The investors are the money people. These are the folks that really pay the bills.
You bring up factions and diversify. How do you feel, from my research, there's 3 camps in the Star Wars universe right now.
Okay.
An internal civil war, as you stated. The people who follow Kathleen, then there's Jon, and then there's people in Lucasfilms. Do you think, who do you think is going to come out on top on this in general?
I'm about to talk.
Okay. I got ahead of him. Okay.
I'm about to address this.
Okay.
So soon after that, we have a article from The Atlantic. Now, The Atlantic is an East Coast high society magazine. It's culture. It's what's allowed to be talked about at your cocktail parties. Basically,
the black tie affair stuff.
Yes, saying that Jon Favreau is the savior of Star Wars.
See? Yes.
And that how the Mandalorian is what Star Wars needs. So now it is acceptable to not praise Kathleen Kennedy.
And she's ticked, rightfully so, because if somebody, mind you, these are just series he's been touching, and people have hope again. Like when Luke came in there in Mandalorian, the final season, with the green lightsaber, I watched the reaction videos of that. People genuinely cried because that's the right way of the legacy. Right, see? That's how the legacy should have ended. Not him sitting on a rock in astral plane form. I'm not going to mention one film.
Ruin Johnson.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it was such a rip. I understand what he did in that movie, but that's it. That's all he gets. That's the end of a legacy of a legend. No.
Not even that. Do you remember in Force Awakens? Han Solo's death.
So anticlimactic.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Even worse.
It just triggers me.
Even worse. Han Solo, yes, he gets the lightsaber through the gut.
Okay.
But what happens then? He falls down a chasm. That's a villain's death.
Yeah.
It's the villain that falls.
Darth Maul. There's a list.
Palpatine.
Palpatine, that's right. In the original episodes, the original franchise.
Jedi.
Anyway.
So, you give Han Solo the villain's send-off.
Han Solo is about as villain as a marshmallow. You know? I mean, the guy's out for himself. He's
a scoundrel.
He's a scoundrel. Yeah, he's a rebel. Like, not a rebel. He's a mercenary for hire, but he's not a dick. That's my point. Yeah.
But we saw that character growth through those 3 films.
Right. He evolved.
So,
anyway,
now we come down to it's getting close to when Kathleen's contract is up for renewal. This is about 2021. And the cut-off date is October 31st.
Okay.
It passes. There's not a word. And the fandom's like, what's going on? Is she still there? What? Is she still there? November 8th, in The Hollywood Reporter and Variety announced that Patty Jenkins' film, Rogue Squadron, has been pulled. It is indefinitely postponed.
Even I didn't know that, to be honest with you.
Okay, so this is now a major project of Kathleen Kennedy's that has been pulled. So people are like, oh my God. So, and she's still doing, at this point, she's still doing Indy 5, which has also been pushed back an entire year. Reshoots. Gasp. So, then we get this article about mid-November. We get a tweet from Frank the Marshal, her husband, which is a retweet of a retweet of a tweet.
Okay, you made sense, but that's like completely mundane. But all right.
Of this article in basically this blog site called Puck by a guy named Matthew Baloney. Yes, that is his.
Oh, that really is his name?
Yes.
Oh God.
Now Frank Marshall did not link the article to it because the article is not flattering toward Kathleen Kennedy, saying how she needs to be kept away from Star Wars at all costs.
Ouch. But hey.
But the final sentence was, oh, and she's been renewed for another 3 years.
How did they know that? Like, huh?
Again, this is a guy who's got this. Again, this was a guy who was an editor for the Hollywood Reporter. I'm sure he's got inside tracks, and
that's true
because you did not hear it in the Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, the 3 major trades. Did not hear a word. I believe they were put on a gag order. You are not to speak about this, and I'm sure that
as far as you can go with this topic,
and I'm sure that infuriated Kathy because her ego is bruised at this point. She's had to go through years of just taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it, and wait, who's that guy who used to work at the Hollywood Reporter? Frank, yeah, call him. Because he's not a trade.
Gotcha.
So he can take the information, do whatever he
as he wills with it, just it runs with it.
And that set the fandom furious.
See?
Damn you, Chapek, you screwed us over.
Curses. Right.
and the torches are out, the pitchforks are out.
Sure.
10 days later.
Okay.
10 days later, we're talking about sites that don't reach quite the Trinity level yet, but we've got the fan things like Collider, Geekosity, Comics
Supreme.
Yes,
yep. That's what I thought. I read that too.
Even Grace Randolph, the queen of the normies. Now, say what you will about Grace Randolph, but huge following.
Okay.
Have said, all of a sudden, they are reporting that the feature films have now been handed over to Jon and Dave.
I'd be livid too. Like, he's done so much more. Back to my original point, with just a few series in a few years, and she's done half a decade. That's it. That's all I got to say on it.
So,
this guy likes it.
So I believe, again, this is what me and some other folks believe, that Chapek is like, you were supposed to keep quiet about this. This was supposed to be ambiguous.
Whoops.
Okay, well, we made a deal. You broke that deal. Well, guess what? Now I'm going to let folks know the details of this deal. You have no power. Then we get something that you posted on your Facebook.
Thank you.
About the casting of the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Now that came out in Variety, which is again one of the big three. To which I am like, let's dig a little deeper here. If you go on to IMDb Pro, not just the regular IMDb because they get some stuff wrong.
You get what you pay for.
But IMDb Pro has the breakdowns of cast and crew and everything. If you look at IMDb Pro for the Acolyte, it has this actress, has an art director, and Leslie Headland as writer/showrunner. That's it.
Well, okay.
There's no director.
No.
There's no executive producer. There's no executive
I see what you're getting at
producer.
now. Yeah.
Because who was originally supposed to be the star of The Acolyte?
Originally? No, tell me.
Your favorite, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson? Oh, God, right. No.
Because so
That's right. There was rumor about a year. It's coming back to me now.
So so just to catch everyone up,
please,
on stuff, the Acolyte is supposed to be set 500 years prior to the events of the Phantom Menace. This is supposed to be the High Republic area, which is another failed Kathleen Kennedy experiment through novels and comic books. Utter failure. The Acolyte was supposed to be the bookend of this. So, this was going to be, and this was supposed to star Brie Larson. Well, they kept pushing it off, until Brie Larson is now under contract with Marvel to do the Marvels. She can't do it now.
Beat her to the punch.
Now, let's not also forget the showrunner and writer, Leslie Headland. That's the former assistant to Harvey Weinstein. That guy. Keeper of the secrets much?
You are who you keep around.
Right. So then, we get news of that. And it's, oh my God, the Acolyte. Why? 10 days later, another leaked little thing in little at the fan level. Harrison Ford is going to make an appearance in the Book of Boba Fett show.
Did not know that.
As Han Solo. If you look at IMDb Pro as of last night.
Spoilers. I did not know that.
They show a cast. They show a cast of 4. Tamura Morrison, Ming-Na Wen, Pedro Pascal, Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
So, and then, to add even more salt on this, Disney Investor Day 2020, when Kathleen's up there with all these icons behind her, talking about all these new projects, whatever. She comes up on one that's going to be her little pet project. A little thing called Children of Blood and Bone.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Torpedoed.
Well, not torpedoed. It's gone.
Oh, well, gone? I mean, okay.
Gone as according to Deadline, it is now the property of Paramount.
Oh, snap. That I did not know.
It is.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm genuinely surprised. Now there is a difference then. Okay.
So, this was sold off. So Kathleen Kennedy's little pet project is now gone. The feature films for Star Wars have been taken away from her.
She's been taking L after L after L.
So
I'm seeing a trend here. She's just losing her edge, and that's why she's so trigger happy. She's
so
rightfully so.
And then we also get the announcement January 1st of the new chairman, which is Susan Arnold. Now, there are folks out there that think that because Susan Arnold is a woman, she's LGBT, that she's going to align with Kathleen Kennedy, and this only strengthens her position within the Disney Corporation. Susan Arnold was the former CEO of Procter & Gamble. She was also a member of the Carlyle Group, one of the biggest private investment firms in the country, on the planet. She does not have time for ideology. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
There's no time.
No.
It is profit, make profit, be profitable. Then soon after that, we get Bob Chapek, whose inter-office memo to all the studios, to all the studio heads and everything, which, it got leaked to, I believe, Deadline, I believe, broke this. And, of course, this is a new year, we're going to be innovative, blah, blah, blah. But he, in his 3 pillars of Disney going forward, the final one, and these were some key words, was the third pillar is our relentless focus on the audience.
That's a very good sign. Unlike those who failed.
Well, again, the word relentless, as in never stopping. He defined the audience as their North Star.
That's where the money comes from.
Exactly.
I mean, how can you lose sight of that? I don't understand. It's the simplest concept.
So
anyway.
So again, so Susan Arnold and Bob Chapek are both distribution-minded people. That is the consumer, aka the fans. Give the fans what they want. If you build it, they will come.
You beat me to it by this close, right? But it's true though. Yeah.
So
feel the dreams for you young people.
Exactly. And then the final thing he said, and I'm going to paraphrase this statement here, was we have within the Disney Corporation, we have a lot of different voices and whatnot, and they all have their chance to be heard. But the most important should always be the audience, and the audience has shown us they want their entertainment to go in a different direction. We have to evolve with the audience, not work against them.
Give the fans what they want, but obviously that's obvious. But don't go against the tide of it's working, and more importantly, rinse and repeat.
Don't insult your fans.
More importantly,
Ruin Johnson.
He's like, this is to you. There it is, right.
You round-headed simpleton. So, and then we just got another word that the Disney has hired a new person in their corporate structure, and her name is I'm gonna botch her last name, Alexia.
Good Lord.
Quadrani. She is now the head of investor relations.
New title or just
no? That's a title.
I figured. Okay.
She has replaced a guy named Lowell Singer, who was responsible for the Bob Chapek spending spree. This girl comes from J.P. Morgan.
Okay.
So we got money people. Top down distribution. Let's make this profitable. Another thing that Bob Chapek in his memo was he wants monthly meetings every month with his studio heads. That's Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, the Disney Animation.
Yeah, okay, true.
Disney Studios. So in that meeting, I'm sure initially will be Bob Chapek. Will also be the president of the Disney Studios, which is a new guy named Alan Bergman, who replaced Alan Horn, who was Bob Iger's protege. And we've heard a rumor, nothing is confirmed yet, but a position of executive creative advisor will also be there. Think of John Mankewicz, John Lannister, who were like go-betweens between the creatives and the upper brass.
Okay.
And guess who reportedly is going to have this new position?
Who?
Jon Favreau himself.
That is a brilliant amount of news. He's climbing up that ladder without even trying.
Now imagine that insult, that Kathleen Kennedy, who she tried to screw him over, now has to report to him.
Heads a roll, but you know what? Her method of using media against you isn't going to work because John doesn't have any dirt.
John, from what I know, is a very honest, straight up guy. I'm sure it's Hollywood.
Hey, he's happy.
I know, right?
Get it?
So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. I believe that Kathleen Kennedy has been completely defanged, and everything that's going on now is just trying to. There's the door. Go. Just go.
Short of ding dong, the witch is dead.
Which is not going to happen. They're
right.
They are not going like I said. She's not going to get walked out of Lucasfilm in handcuffs and humiliation, holding a box.
That's what I like about you. You're a realist, despite the incompetence of the situation. She has too much influence still, and she, even though it's misguided, she still has a plethora of stuff that she brought to the table.
Right. Exactly.
It's just not working. She keeps rinsing, repeating the same damn thing, and these new. Yeah, this is very informative, actually.
Yes. So, but yeah, that's kind of I take. I'd love to hear you guys as well, and also check out C Jack Productions on YouTube as well. And I'm also going to link a bunch of these articles down below in the description, so you can follow the timeline as well. And again, let me know what you think. Smash that like button. Drop a comment. Ring that bell. Subscribe. Share this video. Share. At the recording of this video, we're at 60 subs.
Impressive.
I know, right?
No, you were originally. I can vouch for this. He was originally at 30 during the holidays.
Yeah,
right.
Because I started just before the new
Yep.
New Year. I started with 8.
Dude, you know your stuff. That's why I'm sitting here. Plus, we're friends.
Yeah, well,
and keep that smile on your face, as you always say.
I was going to end that in a second.
I know. I'm sorry. I love it. It triggers
this guy.
Right? But go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, guys, we will also be back. We will be back Wednesday for episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, the review. Also, Saturday shorts, whatever's in my craw at the time. We'll discuss that. But have a great time. Always have fun, guys. Hashtag keep talking. And always keep a smile on your face. Yeah. Toodles.